We got on here and both of us just looked at each other, just staring silently for a good 10 seconds. And I think that's probably the best way to kick things off here, Jess. In other news, it was a happy Thanksgiving, hopefully, for everyone. I hope everybody ate copious amounts of food and watched stupid amounts of football. I don't know. How was it for you, Jess, Thanksgiving weekend?
It was good. Can you hear me, by the way?
Yes, can you hear me?
Audio good?
I have a new
Yeah.
headset, so I don't know if this is even good.
I just plugged in my mic because
Oh, sick.
yeah. What did you ask?
Guys, there's been a lot on our minds, okay? Let's cut us all some slack. Thanksgiving, Jess. Thanksgiving. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up. I mean,
Good.
Yeah. Football, food, and family. Not necessarily in that order, but can't ask for more than that. There was a lot of football this weekend, and we might just talk about it if we find space in our brains and in our hearts to talk about. And there was some good football played.
There was a lot of very good football played.
Yeah. So where do we want to start?
Let's get a couple of things out of the way really quick. Because we know there's a big topic that we are going to just kind of unload the clip on.
Yeah.
So let's start with Ohio State, obviously, getting that dub against the team up north. Let me just say, like, I was very, very happy on Saturday. That's probably the best mood I've been in a very, very long time. Just like beating Utah is great, but then beating that team up north as well, like knowing that this year we accomplished both of those tasks. Like, both of my teams have had winning seasons. Like, if we didn't win another game, like, again, all I really care about in this new age of college football is beating my rivals, and 2-0 for me as a fan, and that has made me so happy. I can't really express just the warmth and joy in my heart right now.
I'm so glad to hear that. And I think on behalf of the rest of the college football world that everybody else is saying thank you to Ohio State, because Michigan being in the playoff conversation would have been a crime against humanity.
Yeah.
And also they were the better team. And so
Clearly.
It's just, my respect for Ryan Day skyrocketed. I sent it to sports analysts, but I mean, him and Sharon Moore meeting on the field afterwards, and all the Michigan players standing around the M in the middle of the field, like protecting it because they think that Ohio State is going to go plant a flag. But
it was so soft of Ohio State to not let Michigan plant the flag last year. That was really soft of Ohio State to do that. Right?
Yep. And then Ryan Day just being like, "Hey, we're going to win humbly," right? Which is being the bigger person, but also like that is the spiciest trash talk you could ever throw in the face of your rival.
Yes.
Like, hey, I'm better than you.
Yep. And there's nothing Sharon Moore could do about it.
Yep. Exactly right. Exactly right. So yeah, I'm so glad that tasted good to all the Ohio State fans. It was sketchy there in the first quarter. I'm curious what your thoughts were in that first quarter when Ohio State's down 6-0.
Yeah, it was absolutely fire and brimstone. It was as bad could possibly be. That first drive, they just ran the ball all over us. I mean, we held them to a field goal, but still. And then freaking we throw a pick on our second play. Like, literally, that was like the lowest point of the college football year for me. Like, that was horrible times. Me and Elliot, yeah. It was a bad time, okay? But we rebounded. Julian Sayin kept his head on. Ryan Day kept his head on. Our defense was lights out. I sent the funny stat to sports analysts. Michigan had 24 yards in the second half, and 25 of them came in the third quarter. They literally had -1 yards in the fourth quarter, which was incredible.
At a certain point in the game, I think Ohio State had 189 yards rushing, and then Michigan had -8 or something during a certain stretch of the game. So, yeah, pretty dominant there.
Yes, very dominant. And then the last thing I just want to say is that was probably one of the most cinematic games I've ever watched. Obviously us winning is great, but the snow falling, Brutus doing the script Ohio, and the X over the M in the end zone just made my freaking life. And then it was just like it was football porn for 3 hours after that first little stretch where I wanted to inflict self-harm. It was glorious. And then the last shot, the shot that is covered up by all the stupid score bugs and all the recaps, but I think it's maybe one of the most cinematic shots in like Jared fandom history, is the shot where all the Michigan players are like on the lower third of the screen, all like defending the M and just like staring up at the Ohio State fans as the Ohio State players are jumping into the big house stands and partying with all the Ohio State fans in the big house. Like the composition, like it was just so cinematic with the blues and the reds and the whites and the emotion of the hierarchy. Like it was literally composed to be in a film. And yeah, we've already talked about it too much. It was great. It was awesome. It was a great dub.
No, not at all. Are you kidding me? Remember how long we talked about the Utah game? Like you said, these are championship games, right? Because college football, and we'll get into it, college football is broken. The timelines are broken. The playoff is broken. The recruiting is broken. Transfer portal is broken. You know what's not broken is rivalry games. So we should spend time talking about that. I think that's awesome.
That is it. That's a very good point, Jess. That's a very good point. Uh, Going along the rivalry games, I think we saw a lot of rivalry games this weekend that were very, very close. Some of them weren't rivalry games, hence like LSU Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It was a bad November, basically, to be an underdog. Like, I felt like we didn't really have any big, like, landscape-changing upsets this whole last month of the season, which usually we get at least a couple. We didn't get a single one. And for that reason, I say thank you for nothing, you useless reptile, to LSU and Auburn. GTFO, I do not want to see you ever again. Don't even put that logo on my screen. I don't want to see it. That was the most despicable, just disheartening, pathetic, stupid, just completely unworthy of my television football that I've ever seen. Both of those teams, there's no way, we said it in Sports Analyst, there's no way those teams are that bad on accident. They had to have been playing to lose on purpose because it was so incredibly poor. It's honestly, it comes back to me, it's my fault for putting my faith or my emotional energy into such teams, but holy crap, I wanted to just something on Saturday because it was so bad.
Yeah. Oh, so bad. And especially Auburn. I know Hugh Freeze is out, right? But I mean, okay, so I'm gonna get on a little tiny soapbox here. I'm gonna keep it brief.
Love it.
But
Please.
something that nobody will tell you if you were to ask the media talking heads of college football or the people who rank teams, they're thinking it, but they won't tell you this. The reason why BYU is ranked low, the reason why Georgia Tech was ranked low, even though they ended up being not a great team, right? The reason why Texas is ranked so high, Vanderbilt is ranked so high all of a sudden after being disrespected, is because they have 4 and 5 stars on their team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is why.
Yeah.
Look at the recruiting profile of Auburn. You're telling me that talent is the most important thing to predict a team's success? Look at LSU. Are you kidding me? Like, if you're running any scientific experiment, there is not enough evidence that talent alone makes a good football team or is a predictor of success.
Yes.
So we're over here and anyways, I don't know. Hopefully that connects to what we're talking about with Auburn and LSU are bad football teams, and yet on paper they are talented, which tells me there's something wrong with the way we assess talent, right? And we assess good teams.
Absolutely. It is stupid. In one word, it is stupid. Auburn has a top 5 recruiting class every single year. And when was the last time they did something? When they had freaking Cam Newton. Other than that, They have done nothing, and yet they have these top 10 recruiting classes. Same with LSU. LSU has one natty in the past, 15 years? And it was because they had Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. Great. How many other years have they had that level of talent and not been able to do anything? All the time. It happens all the time, and it's infuriating that, again, like you said, talent should not be used as a predictor. It can be used as a correlative of, hey, this team won a national championship, they had really good talent. Well, guess what? A team that had also really great talent went 4-8 or 5-7. Texas A&M goes 8-4 every single year, and yet they have a top 3 recruiting class. Again, I love that soapbox, Jessa. Thank you for getting on it. It needed to be said.
And I will die on this hill. Oklahoma is a bad football team. Oklahoma
Yes.
is not good. They're talented, yes. They're a bad football team. That LSU game, because LSU is not a good football team, right? Alabama is better than Oklahoma is, but they are still not a top 10 football team, in my humble opinion. Top 10 football teams don't go lose to Florida State, okay?
By 14.
Thank you.
Virginia. You have all these SEC fans complaining about, why is Virginia going to make the playoffs? Vanderbilt and Texas should be in instead of them. They're ranked so low. Virginia beat Florida State. Florida State trounced Alabama, who is in the SEC title game this weekend. What are we doing? The whole reason you play the games is so that the results under the pretense that the results matter. That is the whole point of sports.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Jessa, we're not even to the biggest hot topic right now,
No.
and my face is already red and I'm sweating.
Yeah, I'm already mad. I've been mad all day, to be completely honest. So, I think that's a good roundup of the weekend. Obviously, if you haven't picked up on it yet, LSU fell short from upsetting Oklahoma, and Auburn did as well, with absolutely no help from any of their players who can't catch a football on either side, and with help from the referees who, wow, really called the game.
That's really well.
Yeah. Anyways, but that's okay, because Ohio State won and BYU won.
Yep. And at the end, both of our teams still control their own destiny.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh, I have some thoughts. I listened to Joel Klatt today, and that was a mistake. I thought it would distract me. Oh, no.
Oh, no,
it did
Jess.
not. It did not. Okay, we're not going to get into it. Maybe we'll get into BYU's path to the playoff on next episode.
Yes, our next episode, guys, this is why we have 2 episodes, okay? So that we can go on these rants and these soapboxes, okay? Last thing before we get to the hot topic of the entire season, of the entire timeline of BYU football, let's give 2 claps to BYU basketball. 1 for each win. Were they deserved? Were they earned? We don't know. It's not basketball season. Who cares? But they did win 2 games, which means they won a tournament, NTE, whatever you want to call it. Cool. Thumbs up.
When's the last time we did that? I can't.
Honestly, I don't know.
Great. So good job. Yeah, in my notes underneath your thing, I just wrote "Yay!" exclamation point, and those are my thoughts. Great.
I will say this is an improvement from when we went to Atlantis and choked away a 20-point lead against Dayton, and Downhall missed 8 free throws. So we are better than we have been in the past. But again, this is football season. We've already talked too much about it. So let's move on. Jessa, I mean, this is what the people want. This is what they've been waiting for. It is KALANI versus BYU. That's how I'm setting this up, okay?
Great.
Where do we even start, Jess? Maybe do you want to give us a timeline of kind of when the dominoes have started to fall and where we are now?
Yeah, really fast. Hand up, everybody at Sports Analyst. My bad for being a panic instigator. I got caught up in the Coug Connect flurry. This will be my last day on Coug Connect, and I'm going to send a message into the message boards and be like, "You are all idiots. This is not worth my $7.99." Okay? Send, leave. Okay?
Ow. Mic drop.
You can't trust anybody in there. You have to there are nuggets of truth, but anyways. So my bad for causing some panic. But there is some questions around Kalani's future with BYU, and the timeline is as such. Uh, James Franklin loses to Oregon at home.
Wow.
Whoa.
Go way back.
Yep. Next week, James Franklin goes to UCLA. Winless UCLA, might I say. Loses that game. Gives up like 500 yards of offense. Yeah, on defense. Really, probably the worst game in Penn State history, might I say. I don't know. Okay, and then they lose to Iowa. Long story short, then Penn State decides to fire James Franklin. And usually when you fire a coach, the reason is, well, we can get somebody better, right? And so that was kind of the assumption. Well, they do that. Fast forward, so they don't have a coach, they have an interim coach. Fast forward to now, early signing day is this Wednesday. And so the coaching carousel is moving at about 100 miles an hour right now. So you've got Lane Kiffin to LSU, right? LSU promotes their defensive coordinator as the coach because their defense is really good. Spoiler alert. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Ole Miss, thank you. Ole Miss, yeah, their defense is not good. Let's see. John Summerall goes to Florida. Alex Golish goes to
Auburn.
Auburn, thank you. So, anyways, coaches are moving around like crazy, and the reason why is because you have early signing day for recruiting classes on Wednesday. So they need to get deals done today. So I've heard differing opinions on when Penn State reached out to Kalani, but here's what I'm fairly confident in, is that Penn State had 5 or 6 names on a list, and Kalani was number 4 or 5 on the list.
Checks out.
Yeah, they reached out to Josh Heupel, and Lincoln Riley. Well, who was the other one I brought up?
Kalen DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer. They reached out to him. All 3 of them could not have rejected the offer quicker, from what I hear. Which makes sense. You have an AD
It makes sense.
Who fires James Franklin, and I get it, he wasn't able to win the big one, but like, who is better than James Franklin? You know what I'm saying?
No one on the market.
Not for Penn State. Like,
yeah.
You know, you've got to play Ohio State and Michigan every year. Like, that's not... And anyways, okay, so, long story short, Penn State is desperate. That's why I say all these things, okay? They are in desperation mode. They don't know who they are going to hire. Kalani is the next one on their list, and they have gone all in on Kalani. I've heard everything from $6 million to $13 million a year, 6 years to 10 years, $80 million guaranteed, total autonomy and investment in the program. And I believe that. What I don't know is what BYU is doing. Like, I don't know why we haven't been able to get a deal done to extend Kalani at this point. Have you heard anything? Like, where are you standing on all of this?
So I am off social media, and so my only correspondence with this whole sphere of news is literally just sports analysts. So,
sorry about that.
So basically, where I stand is, again, based on the information that has been circulated in the sports analyst chat, we believe, we the people believe that Kalani wants to stay at BYU. He wants to have the resources allocated to his football program for not only himself. This is not Kalani. I want to make this very clear. I don't think any of us believe that Kalani is out here wanting to get a bag. Okay? If he wanted a bag, he would be gone. And because I'm sure he could find one. This is not about Kalani wanting the bag. This is him wanting resources for his football program. Now, the crux of this whole thing is whether or not BYU is willing to allocate those funds to the football program to meet Kalani's demands, I guess you could call them, for lack of a better term. What he in his leadership group believed to be a winning level commitment to competing at the highest levels of college football, which is where he has said he wants to get BYU to his entire tenure at BYU. Now, I don't know what is going on But based on my experiences, I do not believe that this is going to be an easy battle for Kalani to win. If it were, we would have heard already that the deal is done. We've extended him. He's staying. XYZ is happening, and this is all under the bridge. The fact that it has not happened, to me, tells me that BYU is either refusing or is slow to listen, whatever the scriptural term is there, slow to soften their hearts to what Kalani needs for the football program. Whether or not any of that is accurate, I don't know, but I believe it to be true. It is my truth.
Yeah, there's definitely, I think what we can confidently say, let's put this in categories of like confident versus speculative, right? I think what we can confidently say is that BYU is not going to be. Oh, did I freeze? Sweet. Okay, we're back. As I was saying, BYU is not like other universities, right? Not like other institutions. So that's what we do know is
Very
that
much
it's
so.
not as cut and dry as you want more money, here more money. We have money, we give you money. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's there's the church aspect of it. There's the new AD part of it, which okay, so now we're going from high confidence, we know that. Can I tell you a rumor that I heard?
Yes, absolutely. We are going
I
to
heard.
unabashedly just proliferate all rumors that are
Okay, great.
clickbaity.
I need to get this one off my chest because I've seen
Yeah.
about a million of them and a lot of them have been stupid, but I'm tickled by this one, let's say. I'm hearing that Kalani went into Brian Santiago
BS,
and
BS. We
yes,
refer to him as
BS.
BS.
Mm-hmm.
Just his it's we're just shorting his
It's his
name. It's too
initials.
long. It's
Yeah.
too long to say. We're just
Brian.
saying his initials.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Um, and basically they went back and forth in negotiations, and at a certain point it seemed like Brian Santiago was all in on just committing to Jay Hill and had kind of given up on Kalani and had said and it was the sentiment that Kalani was just Kalani until Jay Hill came around and then the program really took off. And so they are investing in Jay Hill and they're fine with that investment. That is
Wow.
one angle that
That
one
is
could
an angle.
take. And I have also heard, if this is true, that Shane Reese came driving in and said, BS, get out. You're being dumb. I am in charge now. I am the captain now. And Brian Santiago is no longer involved in negotiations. That is also something I have heard. Again, lower confidence.
Yes.
Sources, right, are saying those things. But if anything at all, this gives you an idea of how much we don't know what the frick is going on behind closed
Yes.
doors. But we know
Yes.
that it's not roses and dandelions.
Exactly, because again, if it were, we would not be having this discussion. This would not be an issue. Okay? So anybody trying to say everything is fine, it is not fine. It
It
might
is
work
not
out
fine.
fine, but it is not fine right now. You know how many people we have to tell that to? People that are crashing out because they have anxiety or depression or their football team sucks, and you just have to say, look, it may suck right now, but in the end it'll be okay, all right? It's okay if it sucks right now, and for BYU
Yep.
fans, it sucks right now, okay? Because
It really
we
does.
might lose Kalani Sitake, okay? Jessa, thank you for sharing that rumor. I think it would be irresponsible of us not to mention every rumor and every possibility. Okay,
Yep.
it would be irresponsible, and we are anything. We are everything but irresponsible on this podcast. Okay, here's my
Agreed.
thoughts. Honestly, I just have a lot of like ammo that I just need to get out of the
Great.
clip. Just got to fire off here. I already said that Kalani wouldn't be leaving for a bag. Okay, if BYU doesn't get the deal done, okay, we are at a crossroads here. BYU football is in the position to either A, commit resources to the football program at a competitive level. When I say competitive level, I don't mean like TCU winning 8 games a year level. I'm talking we are going to compete with Texas Tech. Okay? Again, it seems absurd that Texas Tech is spending $240 million on this amazing football facility, but guess what? They just went through the entire Big 12 and blew basically everybody out, including us, and they're probably going to win the Big 12. And this is like 1 year into this whole like spending. We are spending on NIL. We spent all this money to build the facility. Now we're going to spend it on players, right? If BYU wants to compete at that level, which we know they can, we know that the resources are there. There are so many people in the BYU family that are freaking rich as freaking butt because the Lord blesseth and maketh prosper those who choose the right or whatever. Plus, there's the church, right? And the BYU is clearly and has always been described as a tool to further the mission of Jesus Christ and spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. And the church, with all the tithing, literally has so much money that they get in trouble with the government because they have too much money. Okay? And if you are trying to spread the message of Jesus Christ and his restored gospel, then you are going to do that through every platform imaginable, okay? You are going to publish the Book of Mormon in every single language. You are going to publish the Book of Mormon in print, on app, on website. You're going to make movies about it. You're going to make a TV series about it, however cheesy, and you are going to push that out on every single platform, okay? You know what else you're going to do? You're going to commit to spending on football program, because with somebody like Kalani, who is more of a stand-up guy than probably 90% of people in LDS congregations worldwide, this is a man who had constantly talking about the Savior's message and pushing forth the gospel of Christ, and you don't want to commit the funds to him so that he can preach the gospel in his way, in his tongue? No, okay? It does not compute that BYU does not, okay, have the resources or this is what I'm trying to say. This is possible, okay? It is absolutely possible to compete at the highest level of college football with the resources that the church and BYU have. The choice is going to be what we just described. Are you going to give Kalani the platform to preach the gospel in his medium, okay? Through his specific God-given talents and gifts and his spiritual gifts, are we going to allocate the resources to him to do that in a way that gets the most visibility, the most outreach possible, okay? It is not merely about winning football games. Is that awesome? Absolutely. Is it the end? No, it is the means to the end. The wins are means. It is how you get BYU more eyeballs, how you get BYU on a national stage. And what happens when you do that? You get more features like the Jake Retzlaff feature. You get more features like the Kalani Sitake feature that are talking about how good they are, how they are committed to living these Christ-like lives, and how they are centered in brotherhood, and that football is secondary to the gospel of Jesus Christ. If BYU is winning 6 games a year, that is just cut to shit. There's no platform at all. Jessa, I'm gonna burst like a freaking balloon over here. Long story short, BYU has the choice right now, and I just laid out where my moral ground lies. I just hope BYU also sees it that way, because if they do choose to be like Indiana and commit those kinds of resources, be like the Texas Tech and commit those resources, BYU absolutely can and will compete at the highest level, which will further the gospel of Jesus Christ. Does that make sense? I was Charlie Day
Perfectly.
studying Philadelphia, like...
No. Perfectly.
Okay.
And to your point, okay, I'll add this. I've often wondered, I've been doing some gut checking about myself as a fan today. It's like, do I just want to win football games and, like, win a national championship? And, honestly, is that why I want Kalani to stay? Because I think our likelihood of us winning a championship is higher. Hand up, probably. That's probably how I feel. So I would probably not be the person that you pay millions of dollars to further the Lord's cause, like you said, right? Because that is probably the biggest internal conflict with BYU athletics. It's like,
yes.
Hold on, are we keeping the main thing, which is the gospel? Here's the thing about Kalani. What has been our biggest critique of Kalani?
Love and learn.
He puts the gospel principles above no, sorry, we're not going to be the highest bidder because we want to keep the main thing, the gospel, the main thing, right? Well, guess what? You have a coach that is infuriatingly putting the first thing. He would tank a game if it meant being more like Christ. He would. In a second. He would tank a season. Okay? Yep. And for that reason, I just don't see how you look at Kalani and think, no, this coach would be better for BYU at this point, knowing the body of work. Because it's not about winning at BYU. It just so happens that you found a guy that can use winning, like you just said, to further the cause.
Exactly.
And that just became clear to me as you were going on your beautiful, beautiful rant. So I think we're both on the same page that we want Kalani. Like,
yes.
In 2023, I was one that was like, I just want to win, you know?
Yep.
And Kalani stayed the course and said, you know what, we will win if we do things the right way, but that's not going to be our first priority. The first priority is going to be the growth of the people in the building. I'm just I don't know what to think right now because we have absolutely no visibility. All we know, like you said, is that things are not okay in the room and a deal has not been done.
Yep. If a deal had been done, we're recording this at like 5 p.m. Eastern on a Monday, so everything could change by the time we hit stop. Again, like we have said, this is the right move in every facet of everything. We know that the church has the money to fund this if donors and boosters don't, which I highly doubt that they are unable or unwilling to fund. I highly doubt that. But even if they were, we are backed by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Again, so rich that the government is snooping around all the time because we're so rich, okay? Ryan Smith's tithing could pay Kalani's salary every year. Let's be honest.
No, legit.
Yeah. So I think assuming that Kalani gets extended and everything goes on as planned, I think we have to assume, right? Even if there isn't some big song and dance and oh my gosh, Kalani is back. Like I'm sure they will. Like, hey, we're extending Kalani. Congratulations, Kalani. Blah blah blah. Even if there's not this huge thing about like the staff. Like, I think if Kalani stays, it is a marker that BYU is committed to winning at the highest level of college football. Would you agree? At least in relation to where they are now. We are committed to moving up a tier in the hierarchy of college football. Would you agree?
100%, because that is what Kalani is likely asking for.
Yes.
Like, he's not asking for, hey, just make me competitive. He's asking, this is a pivotal, I asked in Sports Analyst, is this the most consequential day in BYU football history? Yes, because this is the day where we say, are we willing to invest to get to that next level? And if we don't, then to answer your question, I don't know that we're a serious football program.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other side, right? Is if this deal doesn't get done, if Kalani does walk, right? It's not going to be, like I remember on Saturday when we first said Kalani was getting interested, I was like, if Kalani leaves for a bag, I'm completely disowning him. The more I think about it, the more I think that is completely not possible. Like if Kalani were leaving for a bag, he would have done it already. Because I guarantee you there's 100 other schools that would pay him twice what BYU is paying him right now. If we let Kalani walk, it will be because BYU is uncommitted to competing at a competitive level of college football. It's that simple. Right, we are relegating ourselves essentially, right, to Texas Techs of the world, the Indianas, the Ohio State and Alabama, they all have 10, 20 years and a couple $100 million on us, right? But that's the tier that we're aiming towards, right? If you let Kalani walk, you turn the nose of the ship towards Purdue, Kentucky, Illinois is probably a good comp, right? Maybe even a Baylor or a West Virginia, right? You turn your ship and you say, no, we're a feeder program. We get good recruits and sell them off to bigger schools. We get good coaches and sell them off to bigger schools. We are unserious about ever competing in college football. There might be a year we win 10 games, and that's when we kick back and light the cigars. Or the Smarty Rolls here at BYU, and we enjoy it, right? if that happens, Jessa, like the nose of the ship turns and we let Kalani walk, what does that mean for you as a BYU football fan?
It's gonna take me a minute to answer that question. I don't know. It would be me lost in the wilderness for a little bit to figure out what type of emotional investment I would put back into the program. And it would definitely lower until otherwise seen, which is really sad.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel today, because if you were to ask me 24 hours ago, quite literally, I'm like, this is a new age of BYU football. You know what I'm saying? We're doing things the right way. Me as a fan, I'm so fulfilled. And then it would be a serious like gut check time, if he were to leave. I have a thought for you. I just had again. This is enlightening. You know how and this is on the same vein, but you know how we were kind of giving Kalani crap for saying, "Hey, I'm not going to campaign to be in the college football playoff."
Yeah.
I had a thought today.
Okay.
Do you think he's kind of angry that he even has to? That like he coaches for a program? Because if you coach for Penn State, guess what? You win 11 games, you don't have to campaign.
Yep.
Because it's a program that shows its investment in college football. And we just talked about talent, right? That being one biasing factor for the powers that be in college football. The other one is money, right? Look at Texas Tech. If they didn't have this investment, if they had just quietly recruited as they did and didn't have like this oil man pumping money into the program, you think they're top 5? Absolutely not.
No chance.
Right? No.
Even if they win the same amount of games in the same amount of ways.
100%.
That's exactly, yeah.
Right? So I wonder if that was Kalani being a little bit like, well, this program I have given my heart and soul to. Financially, we could invest, like you keep saying, like money is not the problem. And so I shouldn't have to be up here advocating for my team who just won 11 games. So admin, can you help me out here so that we don't have to advocate for this anymore?
Yeah, I 100% agree. That is very apropos for the moment. Even in the post game on the radio, Kalani echoed that same sentiment of Greg asked him like, "Hey, why'd you take a knee instead of kicking a field goal? Could have made it like 44-13 or 44-14, whatever, And Kalani's like, I shouldn't have to kill people to, like I play to win the football games. And winning the football games and going 11-1 with our only loss to a top 5 team on the road, like that should speak for itself. If they want to put me in another game against somebody, I'll gladly play another team to get into the playoff. But I'm not going to come out here and he didn't say it, but like whine and bitch and try and moan and try and get my way into the playoff, with semantics. Yes, ACC. Yeah. So again, this is all to say like we want Kalani, right? We want him here, and if he walks, then that means bad things for BYU football fans. It's yeah. It is a scary place, like you said. It would take a serious gut check. I've committed 26, 27 years of my life to rooting for this team, right? I don't know what the future would hold. It's a very, very, very dark place, and I'm hoping that we don't have to go there. But I'll just say I'm very happy that I have a side team like Ohio State, because you'll see me in scarlet and gray every single Saturday if that happens. Yep. That's as far as I'll say.
Yep, for sure. Oh, man, we'll see what happens. I don't know if by the time everybody hears this, we will know. And if we don't know, then that's probably not a good sign.
If we do know, it'll be really funny to have everybody listen to us scream.
If anything, this tells us why we love Kalani and why we are confident. In fact, everybody, congrats. We extended Kalani. I'm happy to hear it. Woohoo.
We did it.
We are excited for the future, and I hope that you guys feel excited because knowing that Kalani's the guy. And we have invested, so we are a serious football program. You're welcome.
Yes, and you know what? That's a perfect transition, Jess, because BYU, let's take a step back. Let's forget all this Kalani stuff's happening, or even better yet, let's assume that we have extended Kalani at this point.
Great. Woohoo!
BYU has made the Big 12 title game in their 3rd year in the league. We just went 11 2-1. I remember looking at the schedule before the season and saying 2-10 is legitimately on the table. We said that on this podcast like 3 months ago. Jessa, how does it feel unfathomable, right?
Yeah. And I think you wrote this down, but what a great time to be a BYU fan. Like, honestly, regardless of all this crap that's going on, 11 games in a power conference, gritty wins against, 7 teams? No. 4 teams that have 8 or more wins, right? And several of those on the road. You've got Iowa State, you've got Arizona, you've got Utah. That one was at home, right? You've got TCU now, who just clobbered Cincinnati. You've got Cincinnati on the road. That's a 7-win team. At the very least, I'm glad we're ending on this because I think we do need to be grateful for how special this is and how special this 2-year run is. 23-3, 22-2, or 22-3.
Yeah, that's incredible. Absolutely incredible. If you had told us in 2019 or 2020 that this is where we'd be, like it wasn't even a fantasy. Like, it wasn't even imaginable. It was like at that point we hadn't even been invited. Like, it was completely unfathomable that this would even approximate happening, that BYU would even be in a conference, let alone competing for a championship, right?
Yep.
Along comes 2021. We're feeling great. Boom, 2022 hits. Horrible. Like, it would have looked stupid. At that point, it was a fantasy because we had been invited, but it was like, oh yeah, maybe in like 20 years, right? Maybe in 10, 15 years. Along comes 2023, our first year in the Big 12. It was even funnier at that point. Yeah. Like, it was like, oh, we are never going to compete for a championship. We thought we were like the hot shit coming into town. We were going to rule compete in this conference because we'd won like 2 power games a year for the past 10 years in independence.
Exactly.
And we got sat on by everybody. And now look at us. Like, let's enjoy this moment because we all thought this was just absolutely impossible for the last 20 years, 15 years, whenever the independence hit. And now we are here. And we are reveling in an 11-1 season with a true freshman quarterback. Like, and a chance to win the Big 12 and go to the playoff.
Yep, and a team we love. Like, I love this team.
Yes.
That's my only thought. And regardless of what happens, and I think let's just assume at this point that we're all right because we don't know any different, right? But I love rooting for this team, and it's been a heck of a fun season. 2 seasons, honestly. So it's a good time to be a BYU fan right now. And I said this, sports analyst, you had the funniest spots of the day, but whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen. Okay? And yes, that is exactly what they say before crap hits the fan. Okay? But I've gone through all 5 stages of grief today, and I'm arriving back at the only thing that I really have, which is my faith. So whatever happens is supposed to happen.
All right. Well, if I'm supposed to be an Ohio State fan, then I'm supposed to be an Ohio State fan.
You're supposed to be an Ohio State fan. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
I will say, we do not take back anything we have ever said about Parker Kingston, the receiving room, the offense, A-Rod. We still are completely entitled to those opinions, okay? We do not take any of that back. But we also, at the same time, love this team and are very glad that everybody on the team is a part of the team and that we are here today.
100%. It makes for some color for the... How boring would it be if all the guys were perfect, you know?
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine. I literally can't imagine that.
Our fingers would be so much weaker because we wouldn't do this 30 times in every football game, okay? So
oh my. Yeah.
And next episode, we'll probably talk about the Big 12 championship, and we'll probably have some updates on this whole sitch as well.
Yeah, and if we don't...
R.I.P. Out the window he goes. Oh my gosh.
All right, that was a fun episode, though. No, I got nothing else to say. I'm winded, I'm hot, I'm sweaty. I need to go open all the windows and drink some cold water.
Yeah, do it.